Segment bisector. Array or a segment that divides another segment into two congruent segments. So if we take a look at our example down here in terms of the problem, even before I read the problem, just knowing what it says here is that segment AB and segment BC are congruent. They're geometrically equal. Because segment DB happens to be a bisector of that. And bisect means that it breaks things apart into two equal parts. So as we look at the directions here, what it says is segment DB is a segment bisector, find the length of BC. So when we take a look at this, we're going to take 4x minus 5. And we're going to set that equal to 11 plus 2x. And we're going to solve that equation, which is going to require us to subtract 2x from both sides. When we subtract 2x from both sides, we get 2x minus 5 equals 11. Since we moved our variable over to the left, we're going to move the 5 to the right. And now what's going to happen here is we're going to add 5 to both sides. We get 2x equals 16. Don't hesitate to type something into Desmos if you need to. 11 plus 5, 16. Then finally 2 times x, divide both sides by 2 because we're undoing that. And we end up with x equals 8. But that's the length of x. And as I scroll up the screen again, what we're looking for is what's the length of BC? So we're going to come over here. BC goes from here to here. And that length of BC is 11 plus 2x. However, what we're going to do is we're going to put the value of x in there, which is 8. We just found that 8. So now we get 11 plus 2 times 8, which is 16. And finally, 11 plus 16 is 27. That's our length of BC. So we can put that up here, the 27. Another interesting piece that you may or may not know, the question says, what type of point is point B? Point B is right in the middle of this segment. So when it's in the middle, what we call it is the midpoint. A statement that is accepted as true without proof is called a postulate. Oh my gosh. Postulate. Postulate. Called a postulate is a statement that's accepted as true without proof. And it kind of works like undefined terms. If you remember previously in these notes, we talked about point. It's an undefined term. It's accepted with a diagram in terms of its definition. But we actually get more formal with our proofs. But I also would like to say that you can look at it in terms of some common sense as well. So the segment addition postulate says this. If A, B, and C are collinear, which means that they're all on the same line, and B is in between A and C. It doesn't have to be right in the middle, but it has to be in between A and C. Then what we can say is that the length of AB and the length of BC add up to be the length of the entire segment. Another way to think of it is that the sum of the parts equals the whole. So we take the pieces, we add them up, we get the whole segment. And that is a postulate. So now if we look at this one, points U, T, and S are collinear. We don't have a picture this time, so we're going to have to draw it. T is between S and U. So when we come over here and we draw our picture, so here's a segment. Here's U, T is in between, and S. So U, T, S. It says find X and ST given that ST. So notice I have it T in the very, not in the middle, but in between. But TS and ST are going to be represented by the 7X. SU, which is the entire length of the segment, is 45. And TU is 5x minus 3. It's always helpful to draw a diagram to get in your head what we need to figure out what does x equal and what does st equal. Well, once again, the segment addition postulate says that we take the sum of the parts. If we add the parts up, it forms the entire segment. So we can take 5x minus 3 and add that to 7x, and we get 45. And now that we know that, we can solve this. We're going to combine like terms, and our like terms are 5x and 7x. 5 plus 7 is 12x minus 3 equals 45. And then we can add 3 to both sides. So we get 12x equals 48. And finally, we want to figure out what x equals. So we're going to divide both sides by 12. Type that in to Desmos if you don't know what the answer is. So x equals 4. But the other part of this question here is, and it's all in words, so we have to really be careful with what it's asking. But the next part says, it says find x. We did that. But it also says find st. Well, once again, st is here. So when we take a look at this, st is 7x. But we're going to fill in what x equals, which is the 4. So we can finish then with st equaling 7 times 4, which is 28.